Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. As you can tell, I am not home. I am actually on the road. I have a bunch of friends who I interact with on Twitter that do a bunch of like podcasting stuff that we're all getting together down in Red Bank this weekend. So I'm like, that's like a straight shot for me. I'm down this way all the time. So I was like, yeah, heck yeah, I'll pop down, jump onto some podcast records, whatnot, hang out and get to meet a bunch of people who I'm friends with via Twitter, but have never gotten to meet in person. So that's been kind of a lot of fun. There was a little dueling piano action at dinner at Applebee's, of all places, last night. But I digress. You guys aren't here to find out about me getting Applebee's and listening to dueling pianos, which they did nail my request of Paradise by the Dashboard Lights by Meatloaf. So thank you, dueling piano guys. But I digress, because we got some Spooktober action to get into. And this was a movie I missed when it dropped on Netflix a couple years ago, but I'm very glad I came across, because it's pretty free. So why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free into Eli. Oh yeah, there you go, man. I ain't got the TV. I got the second computer that's got my poster, so you guys know what I'm talking about. But Eli is kind of like a psychological ghost horror movie. You have this kid named Eli, who is played by the very talented, I was very impressed by Charlie Shotwell. He really has to carry this whole movie, and he's like an 11, 12-year-old kid, I think. But like has to carry this, and there are a lot of physical things that happen. Eli has like a disorder that comes into play when he, I think he's like 7 or 8, somewhere in there, and he's just outside, he's like running, through the grass, and all of a sudden just like and collapses, and his skin starts to legitimately like burn. And essentially they figure out he's got to be like one of them bubble boys. Like it was something that was dormant, pops up, and now he can't be exposed to any non-clean air. Like the air has to be filtered, like legitimately in a bubble. And he has a hazmat suit, the whole nine. And his parents, who were played by Max Martini, Paul, and Kelly Riley, who I'm a pretty big fan of. She is great when you want crazy. And there's like not a ton of crazy for her, but because of the circumstances that are going on, it allows her to tap into that stuff. She nails that. She plays his mother, Rose, and they come across this doctor who's played by Lily Taylor, Dr. Horn, who says that she can treat and hopefully cure Eli. So they bring him to this like medical facility that is a giant house, and it's a clean house. So like you go through an airlock, everything in the house is clean. So for the first time in like 4 years since it happened, Eli is able to not wear his hazmat suit, can interact with his parents, interact with the doctor, go through testing, and not have to be like isolated, because the whole house is essentially a bubble. And as the movie progresses and he, goes through these different treatments, he starts to see ghosts. And the movie just kind of goes from there. And it's intense, man. Like I was not ready for the level of like really good ghost horror that this movie gives. And kudos to director, I'm going to get this wrong, Sirian Foy, who directed Sinister 2, is at work here and like really does capture the ghost stuff quite well. Like there's and like does it in ways that are slightly different than what you're used to seeing, right? Like you'll get like a hallway chase where like the kid looks back and there's a ghost down the hall, and then at some point that ghost is gonna be like right next to him when he looks. But he has a flashlight. He's got a flashlight the whole movie, man. When he's like going around, because he starts to like, as things get crazier and crazier and nobody's believing him, he starts to kind of like investigate things on his own inside the house. So he's always got his flashlight with him, and there are cool scenes where they play with the flashlight, where they play with like mirrored reflections like in windows and stuff, where 1 minute you see something uber creepy, and as soon as he kind of brings the flashlight over, it disappears. But at other times, it'll be like, shoot, I look back with the flashlight, there's something there, the flashlight goes away, ghost goes away, flip back, and it's like a little bit, like, he just did some really cool things, and there's a bunch of neat camera tricks throughout the whole movie. I really loved how he moves the camera. It was the thing, besides Shotwell's performance, it was the thing for me that worked the best in the movie. And it really, like, the ghost elements and how he just plays with all of the things that are meant to scare you in the movie. I just thought were really, really well executed. And then the story, man, shout outs to David Ciccirillo, Ian Goldberg, and Richard Nang, who are on the screenplay here. It's an interesting story, and it's one of those where it's like you're seeing this happen to a kid, so you immediately get invested and kind of pulled into this world. And then as you're there, you know something weird is going on. And as it kind of unfolds, yeah, you're going to hit some things, that I think you think are coming. Like, it's pretty easy and it's telegraphed in some ways at, who the people are you can and can't trust in the movie. But, still, they find ways to hit you with surprises. And the ending of the movie, wow. I mean, this is a team-up, collab win. Because story-wise, did not see the ending coming at all. And visually, what Foy and his visual effects people do as things go, dude, and talk about creepy imagery. I saw things at the end of this movie that I have seen, right? Conceptually, certain ideas, things around crosses, stuff like that. You see things that I've seen before, but the variational style that they decide to execute those things, holy crow, dude! There was some I jumped 3-4 times throughout the movie because of the jump scare stuff, but just the imagery and how terrifyingly creepy that was really, really cool for me. So from the production standpoint, I mean, the house, I love the house. The set pieces are fantastic. And the movie is, like I said, well-paced, well-written, and well-directed. Which means all you need for a slam dunk for the Seaman is a well-acted movie. And you really do have that in bits and pieces. Like I said, Charlie Shotwell is phenomenal, man. This kid just... He early on, I was I don't know if he's gonna, keep my attention the whole movie. And he slowly just wins you over, and the level of acting for him in his performance levels up as the movie goes. He gets better and better throughout. I also think Kelly Riley does a wonderful job. That they put her into positions as a mother that can be tough, and you can totally be sympathetic, and she nails all that stuff. And same thing, as you get into the end, the things they ask her to do, I thought she hit really, really well. And for me, was really the only other standout performance. Max Martini, I couldn't put my finger on it, but just wasn't overly enthused with his performance. Lily Taylor, who I think is an exceptional actor and can be really good, she's fine here, but doesn't really take it any place next level. It's just yeah, man, that's a face I recognize. It's a fine performance. It really, and it helps support, Shotwell's performance, but really he's the star of this thing, and everybody else is just kind of doing their part. Like I said, I think Kelly Riley stood out, and Sadie Sink from Stranger Things pops in here too. She's kind of this mysterious girl who will visit Eli at the hospital. There's a room that's all glass, so that's on the ground floor. So she'll visit him there, and she's also fine. It was exciting. I was ooh, Sadie Sink. I love what she does on Stranger Things. And she's good, but again, it's a character that is very, very straightforward. You only got so much to do, and Sink doesn't really elevate it past that, but how she plays into the story and character-wise, every time she pops up, you're just okay, this is something that Eli needs. She helps Eli throughout the movie. And I love that there's a ton of mystery around her character, right? Eli is the only one that sees her. Eli communicates directly with her, but nobody else does. Because it's always when Eli's alone kind of going through the house. So there's a lot of mystery on what the deal is with Sadie Sink. And is she real, or is she part of the ghosts that he's seeing, or the things that he's seeing? And it's a really interesting blend, like I said, from a story perspective. And the Haley character that she plays, I liked what that added to Eli's story. But as I said, this one really falls on the shoulders of Shotwell and this production team, and I think they really kind of crush this movie quite well. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get a score up on the board there, the Sea Maniacs. And as I said, I think Charlie Shotwell surprisingly carries this movie. Like I said, if you put it on and you're out on him early, stick with it. He will win you over, and he really does carry this whole movie on his shoulders, and that's always impressive when you have a child actor. I think Foy and his writing team and his production team crushed this thing. I loved the story. I thought it was interesting. It hit me with twists and turns that I didn't see coming. And while there were things that obviously I like you can kind of see coming and figure out a little bit earlier, how those things end up playing into the overall arching story that does catch you by surprise ends up working out pretty well. And I just really enjoyed what Foy did behind the camera. I mean, the camera movements and some of the tricks that he has with the ghosts, I just thought were exceptional. Some of them are things you've seen before, but in ways that I hadn't seen. So it kept it feeling fresh when it came to the scares. And if I wasn't jumping out of my seat, which I did a couple times, I was definitely creeped out and like, what's going to happen? And those are all the things that I really look for in an enjoyable horror movie. The rest of the cast, they all do a fine enough job, but it's really about Foy, this writing team, and Shotwell, man. They really, really crush it. So for me, I'm going to go 3.8 out of 5. Really, really enjoyed this one. You know, I think you could improve it in certain elements. I think having maybe stronger supporting acting performances, or maybe just slightly stronger supporting characters, like if you would have given a little bit more depth, but I also understand that kind of plays into the mystery. So I'm going 3.8 out of 5 C-Maniacs for the C-Man on this Spooktober review number 3 as far as movie goes on day 2 of Spooktober. That's it. That's all I gotta say about Eli. I think if you are a horror fan, specifically of the haunted ghost, haunted house ghost type stories, this is totally something you should check out. Really, really enjoyed it. And like I said, it surprised me. So there you go, man. Those are all those C-Mans. Spooktober thoughts on Eli, which is over on Netflix. Now I want to know what you're thinking, man. Have you checked out Eli? Like I said, this dropped, I think, back in 2019. What were your takes? Did it work for you? Did you think it was a decent haunted house movie that did some things differently? Was it too generic, and did you see everything coming? I just want to know what was working from performance and production for you. And if you haven't watched it, has the C-Man enticed you to want to check it out, man? Is this horror your lane? Are you a ghost fan? Does this seem like something you'd want to check out? Anything you guys got, man? Good, bad, indifferent on Eli over on Netflix goes down below in the comment section. I look forward to talking to all you Spooktober C-Maniacs down there. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new and you want to come join that Spooktober C-Maniac Nation, and you haven't, and you want to just show me a little love and support, well, that's super easy to do. All you got to do is jump over there, man. Come join C-Maniac Nation by hitting that subscribe button. Hit that little bell if you want those alerts. Until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down. I've been C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace.
Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.